Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins follows Jane, a dog walker for the wealthy people of Thornfield Estates. She's broke, likes to do a little theft on the side, and she's fallen for Eddie Rochester, whose wife has recently drowned during a boating accident. Jane wants the security and wealth that the people of Thornfield Estates possess, and her best chance at getting those things is by getting close to Eddie. But first, she has to make sure the secrets of her past stay hidden and figure out the secrets of the man she loves. So, if you don't already know about this book, this is a modern-day retelling of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I would also add in there kind of throw in a bit of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This book definitely is like this crazy mashup of Jane Eyre and Rebecca, but yeah, much more, Jane Eyre focused, So I love this book, you guys. It's not perfect. This book definitely isn't perfect, but there's just something about it that I weirdly liked and enjoyed. And this may come across badly, but I don't mean it badly. This book kind of reads like trash fiction, if you will. And what I mean by that, like bad reality TV. Like you're watching just something terrible with a reality TV show. These people are terrible and despicable human beings. It's like, why are you watching this show? But it's kind of the thing why you watch a bad reality TV show, because you can't stop watching. You want to see just how screwed up these people are, and it just makes you appreciate your own life even more, So that's kind of what I mean about this book being like a trash book. It just these horrible people. There's all of these horrible people. None of these characters are likable. None of them are sympathetic. They're all despicable in their own way. But it's like you still want to read this book. You still want to continue and see this train wreck that's going on with all these characters, because all these characters are just completely stupid. They all do stupid stuff, and you just want to slap them. You just want to slap every single one of these characters. But you're so drawn into the narrative, and you want to see what's going to happen to all these people. Are they going to get happy endings? Are they not going to get happy endings? So yeah, that may sound kind of weird. No, because this is a modern day Jane Eyre retelling, and yeah, the original Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte is definitely not like that. Because like for me, I really like all of the characters in the original Jane Eyre, I love all of the characters. I love Jane Eyre. I love Mr. Rochester. I really just like all of the characters that populate this story. Some of them you love to hate, but it's like they're still really good characters. But yeah, this book, good lord, all these characters are just not great people. So I would almost kind of say this book kind of has like that feel. It has that feel of being almost like a reality TV show. It has that feel of being like a guilty pleasure at times. And I just really like this book, weirdly enough. I found it really fun and entertaining. The mystery elements were good. They weren't like brand new. Since I've read the original Jane Eyre, I knew where everything was going, so nothing was like a complete total mystery to me, but I still liked seeing how Rachel Hawkins was interpreting those classic things that do happen from Jane Eyre and whatnot. So yeah, I did. I just found this fun and entertaining, and I was never bored, which is good. And like I just mentioned, yeah, if you're familiar with the Jane Eyre, a lot of what goes down in this book is nothing new. Rachel Hawkins, in her own way, she touches on a lot of those big dramatic beats. And yeah, I mean, really what's different about this book, it's just taking what you already know and just modernizing everything. You know, modernizing the setting, modernizing the characters, and modernizing the plot. You know, making things a little bit more believable to the current time era and whatnot. You know, just really updating everything, making everything a bit more flashy and appealing to a modern day audience. So you still get all those familiar beats. Things are just updated. For instance, you know, in the original Jane Eyre, Jane is a governess, but in this, she's a dog walker. You still get Adele. In the original, Adele is the ward of Mr. Rochester, but in this, she's Mr. Rochester's pet dog. And this may be a bit of a spoiler for the original Jane Eyre, but I mean, I don't know how else to go about it. I mean, Jane Eyre, it's a classic book that's been around for hundreds of years, and if you've not read it, I guess too bad. But yeah, in the original Jane Eyre, the wife of Mr. Rochester, she's presumed dead, but you get that you get the reveal. You know, that there's something else going on with Mr. Rochester's wife and whatnot. So it is, in the original Jane Eyre, Bertha, Mr. Rochester's wife, it is a big shocking plot twist. But in this book, the character of Jane, she already knows about the existence of B. In this book, she's called B instead of Bertha. Jane already knows about her existence. She knows that he was married at some point. And yeah, B has drowned during a boating accident and whatnot. So yeah, this is called The Wife Upstairs. I think that's kind of self-explanatory what's really going on with B. Plus, if you've read the original Jane Eyre and whatnot, I think the title of this book is its own spoiler, if you will. So I don't think I'm really sitting here spoiling anything. And like I said, if you've already read the original, yeah, there's nothing new about that anyway. And I think a lot of the updates, the adjustments that Rachel Hawkins takes with the familiar characters, the familiar plots, it all worked for me. I liked all of her little clever twists and turns to what we already know, because some things are kind of identical and then other things are just, you know, adjusted a little bit. And there was never anything in particular that I was like, oh dear God, no, I can't believe Rachel Hawkins did that, you know. So yeah, I really liked a lot of the little adjustments and updates. A lot of it really did work for me. And plus, the way Rachel Hawkins handles the ending, I mean, I was kind of expecting certain things to happen with the ending since I've read the original, but yeah, Rachel Hawkins does take a few little twists and turns there that's kind of like, oh, okay, I like what you did there, because you did genuinely surprise me there. But yeah, there's nothing particularly surprising about this book at the end of the day. It is really more of a thing of just seeing Jane Eyre in a modern day setting, essentially. And just to touch on the characters really quickly, I've already mentioned none of these characters are likable. None of them are sympathetic. They're all despicable human beings. They all have just their shady backgrounds and backstories. And seriously, every character, you guys, every character has some sort of shady background, shady dealings going on. There's just so much angst and drama going on in this book. Because even Jane, she's your leading character of the story, but she's almost kind of nothing like the original Jane Eyre in some ways. Yeah, Jane is prone to lying all the time. She's prone to a little bit of theft on the side. I mean, that's just it, you know, theft is theft and lying is lying, and, you know, sometimes I just can't support something like that, but it's like she's still a fascinating character, you know. I still kind of love to hate her. And then, yeah, when she does start hooking up with Eddie Rochester, it's like, girl, do you even genuinely like this guy? She's kind of really just using him for the wealth and security that he possesses more than anything. And then yeah, Eddie Rochester, he's not really that great a guy either. He's handsome on the outside, but deep down there's just something dark lurking there that Jane can't quite figure out. Even the neighbors, you guys, because this, because Mr. Rochester in the original, his home is like Thornfield, but yeah, in this it's like a big, large, gated community called Thornfield Estates. So yeah, you have all these other wealthy, privileged people living at Thornfield Estates, and yeah, all of the neighbors have their own shady backgrounds and stories, and they're all just horrible people too. And the way the narrative structure of this book is, because you do get Jane's point of view, but you also get Bee's point of view, Eddie's wife. You also get her point of view as well. What happened during the supposed boat accident, what happened there, because there is like a big murder investigation going on. What went on there? Is Eddie responsible for that? So you kind of get all those, you get those little flashback chapters and whatnot, told from Bee's point of view. So the nature of this book with Jane and Bee, you have both women are totally unreliable narrators. You can't tell at any given time, are they telling you the truth? A lot of times you feel like you're being lied to, and Rachel Hawkins, I think she wants you to feel that way, and I think that's kind of the great thing about her writing in this book. She wants you to feel disturbed. She wants you to feel a sense of tension and unease. She wants you to feel like, hey, these women are lying to me as the reader, I don't think they're telling me the 100% truth and whatnot. So I really like that about this book, trying to figure out, okay, where is the truth? Where is the fact and fiction here? And it's a very fine line with what these women are telling you in their narratives. So yeah, if you are a straight out Jane Eyre purist, this book is not for you. I'm sorry to say. Do not pick this book up if you're just a 100% absolute Jane Eyre purist, because you're going to hate this. I think you're really kind of only going to like this book if you are really into the idea of this being a modern day adaptation of Jane Eyre, a different, unique imagining. Yeah, you need to kind of go into this book prepared. Hey, these characters are kind of the complete opposite of what they are in the original. You're not going to like them. You're going to find them despicable. You're not going to find them sympathetic. You do need to be very aware of that heading into this book, because you just kind of need to take this book very lightly. It could be very silly at times. It could be very absurd at times. Yeah, the mystery, if you've read the original, the mystery is not really so much a mystery, because you're already pages and pages, chapters and chapters ahead of the characters. You already know where things are kind of going and what the big mystery really kind of is. So yeah, this book it's definitely not for everybody. You're either going to love it or hate it. It's definitely not for diehard purists. And I'm someone who loves Jane Eyre. I love Jane Eyre, but I didn't let this book upset me. I did my best. I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this upset me or frustrate me. I need to take this book for what it is rather than what it isn't. And a big thing too, because I could just totally tell, you guys, I could totally tell Rachel Hawkins, she is totally anti-Rochester. I definitely got those vibes, because she kind of does Mr. Rochester dirty in this book. She just definitely is not on board the shipping train that is Rochester and Jane. And I'm someone who loves Jane and Rochester. They're up there as one of my top favorite classic literary couples, right up there next to Darcy and Elizabeth. So yeah, Rachel Hawkins definitely has no feelings and sentiments toward Mr. Rochester in this book, you guys. You gotta know that too if you love Mr. Rochester. And this book, even though it is a retelling of Jane Eyre, it is managing within there to tell some modern day topics, tackles some big issues. It's definitely tackling this whole idea of wealth and privilege, who has it, who doesn't, and why. It's also a very highly feminist take on Jane Eyre. definitely playing into this whole thing of, you know, the roles of men and women, the roles of husbands and wives and whatnot, who's kind of falling in line and who's not falling in line. And like I mentioned, you know, your narrators, your two narrators, Jane and B, they're totally unreliable narrators. So this book is definitely kind of tackling the whole idea of, you know, truth and lies. How well do you know your wife? How well do you know your husband? How well do you know your best friend? How well do you know your neighbor? How well do you know your freaking dog walker? Since, you know, Jane is the dog walker for all these wealthy people. You know, you gotta question that sometimes. You think you know your husband, you think you know your wife, you think you know your friend, your neighbor, whoever. You think you think you know them, but really you don't. So I love that this book was kind of tackling, you know, within the retelling, it was also tackling just, you know, bigger issues, like I said, wealth and privilege, truth and lies and whatnot. And yeah, really focusing with a very feminist slant with all of that as well. So that is it for my review of The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know what you liked about it. Let me know what you hated about it, because I think a lot of people really kind of dislike this book. Just let me know your thoughts and feelings with this book. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.